Good evening. Welcome to ThatOldCarGuy.com. So, let me give you a little bit of history here. I don't have a big production studio like a lot of the trainers. I'm actually in my bar room in my backyard. I have a 12 by 28 building that I have turned into my man cave, bar room, whatever. So, as you can see, that's where I'm doing the videos at. It's quiet, it's comfortable, and it's a car guy setting. I mean, what car guy doesn't want a bar in his backyard where he can just get away from everything? So, I want to go over one thing real quick with dealers that, dealers, GMs, general sales managers. The biggest thing that I found, I had a staffed event business for 8 years. So, the reason that dealers would call me was because their managers thought they were the bank. They would pull a credit bureau and it would be a 480 or a 510, a 590 with a repo, or this or that, and they would just tell a salesperson they can't buy anything. Tell them I need 30% down or a cosigner. Sales managers, finance managers, they're not the bank. It doesn't matter. Your job as a manager, a sales manager, a finance manager, if you're the one submitting the deals, is to gather a credit app, submit the deal, and work with the banks. It's not rocket science. Everybody thinks that they're the bank. It's not their money. You know, Westlake buys people with repos. Credit Acceptance buys people with repos. We all know Chrysler Capital buys people with repos, as long as it's not with any bank that they bought or with them. For 2.5 months, I was in Albany, Georgia. Our average credit score, I pulled a credit report. You know, you can pull it in Reynolds or ADP, your average credit bureau score. We delivered 87 cars the first month I was there, in a store that was doing 20 cars a month. The average credit score that we pulled was 498. It's not my job to make the decision. If I don't submit it, I don't have a deal. Instantly, morale went up. Referrals came in. There was actually a dealership down the road whose general sales manager did all the ads for like 10 years, was sending us customers that they couldn't get done. I was getting 5 deals a week from this guy. Now, if I'm that dealer principal, I'm going to be livid. But as the general sales manager that was running the store, I was happy as a clam. So was my salesperson. He was doing 15 to 20 deals a month just off referrals, not counting people walking through the door. So, my point is if I could show your managers how to do the same thing, and get out of that old mindset of they're the bank, or actually it's not an old mindset, it's really a new mindset. When you pull a credit report and you see 468, what's the first thing most of the managers say? Oh, this guy's a 468, he can't do nothing. They don't even scroll through the credit report. They don't even look. What if you scroll through the credit report and all of a sudden he's got a repo, the customer's got a repo, he's got this, he's got that, but he's got a perfect paid Cap One credit card and you're a diamond dealer. Or he's got an old Santander loan that he had for 14, 15 months that he paid perfect, at least according to the credit bureau, and then he paid it off, which means he probably traded it or this or that. Why would you not submit that deal? I have told manager after manager after manager that I've trained in 30 years, you are not the bank. You'll never be the bank unless you want to be the bank. If you want to be the bank, step up. Who cares? But your job is to submit the deal and find a way, a reason for the bank to buy that deal. Every salesperson that I've ever trained, I've told them, you're a real estate agent. There's a buyer and a seller. You're the person in between. Your job is to bring the buyer and the seller together. That's the same thing as me as a manager sitting on the desk. The salesperson's job is to sell the car. My job is to sell the loan to the bank. And Mr. Dealer, if you have sales managers sitting on your sales desk that are looking at deals and have never done finance, I'm sorry, you're losing deals every day. I came up through the business, you were a salesperson, then you were backup F&I, then you were F&I, and then you got the privilege of sitting on the sales desk. If you don't understand banking and you don't understand how to get a deal bought, you have absolutely no right to sit on a sales desk and pencil deals. And if you don't submit any deal that's below a 640 before you give a salesperson a pencil, your sales managers are wasting their time. Because if you pass a salesperson a deal, a pencil, and he goes out and closes them on the first pencil or the second pencil, and then you go, hold on, let me get this deal bought. And then you go back to the salesperson and go, well, I got the deal bought, but I figured the deal at 14% and it's really 22%, and now they need $3,000 down. What have you done to that salesperson's attitude for the next day, day and a half, 2 days? If you pass a salesperson a pencil, the deal needs to have an approval. I don't care if it's only one approval at 18%. If you're in North Carolina, if you're in Maine, 18%. If you're in Georgia, the state cap's 29%. So if you got a deal at 27%, make sure you have an approval before you send the salesperson out to get the customer committed. It's simple. There's a lot of little quirks to this business that people have forgotten. But in the end of the day, everybody says it takes too long to buy a car. It takes too this, takes too that. If you sit a customer down, you do a guess sheet, you find out what they're trying to do, you pull, then the salesperson comes to the credit desk or to the sales tower, we pull their credit and we pull up, oh, we got a 520 here with a fresh bankruptcy. Why would you have that salesperson show that customer a car until you know they're approved? So you take the guess sheet, you figure out what kind of vehicle they're trying to look at, you find something that's close, that is in range with the book, you shoot it over, and that's the first car the salesperson shows them. But you have an approval before you send them out. It takes 3 minutes to input a deal into DealerTrack or Route 1 to get either a computer approval or a turn down or a condition. Now there's a few banks take a little longer. If you're Wells Fargo, they take a little longer. But if you're a good desk guy, you already know Wells Fargo's parameters, so as soon as you hit submit, you can pick up the phone. Same with Ally. There's a lot of banks, though, that give you instant approval. If you're not Chrysler Capital, if you're not a Chrysler dealer, most dealers still have Santander, you're at least going to have an approval with a $3,000 fee or a $2,000 fee or a $1,500 fee. Why would you send the salesperson out without bullets in his gun? And then managers, then you look at the dealer and go, oh, well, you know, the guy was a stiff. We got him done, but, you know, he didn't want to pay $600 a month. Well, if you already knew he was going to be $600 a month and you sent the salesperson out, you could tell the salesperson, you need to make sure this walk around is the best in the world. A lot of this stuff is not hard. It's not rocket science, but computers have made us lazy. It got to me for a time until one day I just finally looked about 6 years ago and said, what am I doing? I'm making a decision for the bank. I don't make the decision for the bank. You know how they always say, excuse my French, there's an ass for every seat? Well, there's a bank for every customer. CAC, $800 a month in income. You can still get them approved on a card. Now, do you have that card in inventory? Well, maybe, maybe not, but it doesn't matter. If you can walk out to that customer with a guaranteed approval in your hand, what's your chances of delivering a car? A lot better. I've had deals where the payment was $690 or actually, sorry, $780 on a Renegade, $22,000 Renegade with a $5,000 rebate. Customer couldn't afford the payment, but guess what they found? Oh, the $680 cosigner that was their uncle or their aunt or this or that. You got to look for the deals and work for the deals. Anybody can take a 720 and click the button at, 80% of invoice or 90% of invoice or even 110 invoice and get that deal approved. The way you build your dealership and the way that you build your portfolio and the way you build your traffic And your gross is with the deals that the dealer down the street doesn't want to waste the time with. So, with that in mind, if you really want to add to your bottom line, if you really and truly want to grab your market share and start kicking all these corporate stores' teeth in, call me. 207-385-6718, my personal cell. Or just go to www.thatcarguy.com. There's a spot on the page that says request references. I'll load you up. Banks, dealers, people I've trained, guys that have been in the industry for years. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good night.